Hi, Mighty Mommy here, and I'm ready to share some quick and dirty parenting tips with you that will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. I'm your host, Cheryl Butler. Before I had kids, I used to be a bit too quick to judge those parents who I'd see losing their self-control out in public. One example that comes to mind is the infamous checkout line scenario at the grocery store, where mom or dad are hurriedly trying to unload the groceries and pay for them while little Jack is screaming because he wants a large candy bar. The parent says no, at least 3 times, but Jack is determined to get his way, so he screams, whines, and throws a full-fledged tantrum so that on the 4th attempt, the harried parent gives in and the kid wins and gets his hands on that tasty candy bar. In the process, not only is the kid having a breakdown, the parent is close to having one as well, which only exasperates the situation, making all involved completely miserable. It only took one time for that scenario to happen to me for me to vow that I'd never judge another parent again. On the other hand, I also remember observing parents who were composed, cool, and collected during similar situations, and I wondered what their secret was. I was determined to learn the trick to winning the battle against a hysterical toddler. Thankfully, 8 kids later, I've learned a thing or two about self-control. So today, Mighty Mommy will share 6 ways to put the calm back into your parenting style. Tip number 1. Manage your own behavior first. We do so many things automatically without even thinking about it, such as lash out at our kids when they behave badly in public. This often happens because we want to get our kids under control first and foremost and forestall any further embarrassment. But in reality, the thing that would be most productive is to get our own frustrated feelings in check before responding to the child's outburst. When one of my kids is pushing my buttons or doing something that I find completely unacceptable, I count to 10, really sometimes a lot more, and talk to myself in the process. Stay calm and in control, I tell myself. By taking a few seconds to step away from my child's poor behavior and get my own feelings in check, I can usually shift from being frustrated and ready to lash out to a reasonable state where I can handle my child's situation without losing my composure. When you work to manage your own behavior first, you effectively neutralize the power struggle. As an added bonus, when you get yourself under control, your kids will also usually calm down. Remember, calm is contagious, and so is anxiety. When we as parents are nervous or anxious, it creates anxiety in our kids. Tip number 2, blow bubbles. People often laugh or roll their eyes when I tell them that one of my secrets to staying calm is blowing some good old-fashioned bubbles. I learned this trick from my own mother who raised 5 kids. When there's a tense parenting situation on the horizon, nothing can divert a cranky kid or diffuse a stressed-out parent like simply blowing bubbles. Kids love them because they're such a delightful distraction, and at the same time, the parent who is blowing them is able to release all that built-up tension with the deep breathing technique involved in blowing bubbles. I even keep a jar of bubbles in my car. This method is even a great stress reliever for those nerve-wracking moments that come with parenting tweens and teens. Tip number 3, rely on a favorite mantra. Keep some slogans in your head to help you regain your composure. Say something to yourself every time you feel your emotions rising. It can be anything from stop or breathe or slow down to my favorite, this too shall pass. Whatever words will help you, take that moment and go through a list of priorities in your mind. I even have a mental picture in my head handy, my happy place, to calm myself down. I think of a beautiful beach with a comfy chair, a cool drink, and my favorite book just waiting for me to come relax in. Tip number 4, step away. When things with your child are falling apart and chaos is brewing at a fast pace, it can be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to turn back the tide. Peace may not be an option due to external factors such as angry voices, dogs barking, TVs blasting in the background, and even maybe your spouse or other children chiming their 2 cents in to stoke the fire. When your surrounding atmosphere is just as destructive as your child's behavior, Sometimes the best medicine is to simply walk away. My kids are used to me chanting one of my favorite responses when the going gets tough, and that is, step away and no one gets hurt. I try to say this with a bit of sarcastic humor, but in our house it means that Mom is going to take a quick breather and go someplace to be alone and quiet while I refocus and bring my anger into check. Silence is often just the thing we need to replenish and rejuvenate ourselves, and yet it may be the hardest to make happen. But if you can get into the habit of breaking away for a brief respite, even if it's just 5 minutes, you'll be helping yourself and you're teaching your kids a lifelong coping skill as well. Just a note, I always tell my kids, I'll be back in 5 minutes, so the younger ones know what to expect. I don't want them to think I'm running away. I'm just taking a little break in the action. Tip number 5, get a hobby. Being a parent is truly more amazing, yet more difficult than I ever dreamed it would be. One gift I wish I would have given myself years ago when I was a new parent was not to abandon my own personal desires just to please others, and that includes hobbies. Taking kickboxing classes was something I was passionate about before I became a mother. Yet, once I started having kids, I completely abandoned it because I felt guilty about spending the money and the time away from my family. I took nearly 10 years off from this favorite activity, and I regret it. I'm back at it now, and I hope never to have to give it up again unless it's my choice. We all have that one thing that makes us feel alive and passionate, so devote yourself to whatever that thing is for you. Having that hobby as an outlet will allow you to be happier and keep a calm frame of mind on a regular basis. And tip number 6, if and when you do lose your cool, own it. If your anger has already boiled over and you've lost your cool, don't back away from it. Instead, simply own up to what you've done wrong. Don't give in to the temptation to blame your child for triggering your outburst. Say, I am very disappointed by your sneaky behavior, but I shouldn't have yelled at you, and I am very sorry. The act of apologizing alone can be calming, and at the same time, you're being a good role model for your child. So, how do you stay calm when faced with parenting pressure? Share your thoughts in the comment section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. Or you can email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com and visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mighty-mommyqdt. I hope you all have a peaceful and calm week. Until next time, happy parenting.